Okay, so we are going to finish up with our discussion on persuasion, with just a couple of things that you want to kind of look out for. So, when you're building an argument for your persuasive topic, you want to make sure that you avoid fallacies. Fallacies are errors in reasoning. There are a lot of them out there, but the most common are these five that I'm going to talk about really quick. The first one is a hasty generalization. That occurs when your claim is not supported with enough evidence or is supported with only weak evidence. So you have to make sure that you include enough supporting material to satisfy the audience that you're not hand picking evidence that supports your claim. For example, all pit bulls are dangerous. Well, we know that's not the case. Hasty generalization, when you don't support it with enough evidence, or we're only supporting with one weak example just because one pit bull bites or maims someone, doesn't necessarily mean that all pit bulls are dangerous. The second one is false cause. It's post hoc ergo propter hoc, which means after this, therefore because of this, occurs when your alleged cause fails to produce the effect. Just because two things happen one after the other doesn't mean that the first necessarily caused the second. For example, school violence is caused by television violence or lack of parental involvement. And just because that is certain, of course, of some instances, doesn't necessarily mean that it is always the case. The either or fallacy occurs when you support a claim by suggesting that there are only two alternatives when others do in fact exist. Because of the possibility of kids receiving poison or drug-laced candy, trick-or-treating should be banned. Just because you have to make sure you can't present a situation as it's either this or this, right? Straw man occurs when you would take someone's argument or point and exaggerate it or distort it in an extreme way. Um, for example, if you're talking about purchasing handguns, for example, there's a 7 day waiting. You're advocating a 7 day waiting period to purchase handguns. Person two argues that it's our constitutional right to bear arms. Person one is favoring regulation, not prohibition of gun ownership. And person two distorts that position, making it easier to refute. Person one is not saying, hey, we shouldn't be able to purchase handguns. I'm just advocating that there should be a 7 day waiting period to purchase handguns. So that's straw man when you're distorting or distorting a point. And then the last one is really common in politics. We see a lot of those in advertisements for um, people running for office or whatever. And that's when you attack a person or um, rather than addressing the argument itself. So you don't even go to church. How can you claim to be a Christian? Kind of thing. And we see that a lot in those political campaigns where so and so, wasn't for this kind of thing. So those are ad hominem, where you're attacking the person instead of the argument itself. So those are things that you want to kind of look out for and avoid. So we're going to move into the next part of uh, our unit. I'm going to talk a little bit about choosing good sources, how to know when you're choosing good sources or what's reliable for you. And then we'll start making gains towards working towards developing your persuasive argument and writing your essay. The first step will be your annotated bibliography. I'm going to talk about that in detail as well in a screencast and move you towards putting together an essay, a persuasive essay.